One thing that people don't really talk about when vibe coding applications is what sort of backend should you use and how you should deploy it in the first place. See, the thing with AI agents is that we have a lot of great models now which are great at front-end UI, front-end designing, right? We saw that in Gemini 3.1 Pro release. I have a video on that, you can check it out. But we saw that this is like a good model for building UIs, very specific kind of UIs, SVGs, stuff like that, and it is like the best out there, which you can use to create this front end, and you can basically deploy it anywhere you want, right? You can even have static files, host it statically anywhere, and it'll work. Problem happens if you are using any sort of simple application, like if you're building an MVP or a personal app or something that you need to be deployed with a backend. This is where a little bit of problem also starts to happen, because backend is not as simple as frontend. In frontend, all you have is basic HTML simple files. Even if you're using a technology like React, Vue, Svelte, any sort of tech, this can be exposed as basic frontend files which you can pick up, deploy anywhere you want. With backend, what happens usually is there are three components that you have to be careful about. The first one is auth. The second one is your code execution, where you're executing the code itself. And the third one is, let's say, the storage of the data. Now, the storage can also be in two parts. First is obviously the object storage, which is like arbitrary raw information. And this second one could be database, right? Now, of course, you have the way to go about and pick different tech for different things. But for the most part, if you are somebody who's developing an application, an MVP, a personal app, something that you anticipate to scale up in future, and you are using tools like Opus 4.6 and Gemini for vibe coding, or just doing it in a flow state where you're not bothered a lot about the code, but you want to see the functionality come up quickly, then in this case, I would argue that a better way, instead of doing everything by hand manually on providers like AWS or on public cloud providers, which are difficult to set up and could be a little time consuming for something that is turning out to be just a simple application or a spin-off of you trying to see something working, instead of going the traditional route, what you can do is look into a company I found out called InsForge, which says that they are the backend for agentic engineering. Now, they basically solve exactly the problems that I have told you right now in terms of backend, the auth, code, storage, and it is built from ground up for your agent. So it's not just for you. Of course, you can use it without an AI agent also, but the best benefit of InsForge gets unlocked when you are using it with your AI agent, which is supposedly doing everything as you're saying. So in the product category, you can see that they have auth, they have database, they have storage. They also have edge functions, which is basically executing your code. If your application itself wants an AI to interact, they have like an AI gateway. You can also have real-time interactivity within your application, which is based on top of Postgres to provide real-time updates in whatever is changing. And all of this is actually managed for you, right? So this is not something that you have to manually configure. It is managed for you, as well as it is something that your AI agent can understand exactly. So I want to give you an example of InsForge in this video and how you can make it possible to work with it. So I'm inside my dashboard. You will find a link in the description which you can use to sign up for InsForge. Once you're in your dashboard, you will see that you have the ability to create a project. And once you have a project, you will be able to create resources around it, right? That could be auth, database, storage, all of these. So I want to show you an example of this app. So I have this one app right now, which I use to generate invoices for brands that I'm working with, right? So I'm just showing you a dummy invoice over here, something that I use and forward brands for, just working with them, companies to work with them on tech consultancy or sponsorships. And this is a basic application that runs only in my computer right now because the source code is local. I'm going to make a copy of this project. I'm going to give it a little front end, and then we're going to deploy this on InsForge, hopefully without touching any line of code or any dashboard in the first place, right? So let's go ahead and take up this challenge. So let's see if I can make it possible, make it work so that we have just the CLI in the rest of this video until and unless we don't have to see the project, right? So I'll copy this project first of all, then I'm going to go inside the folder and I'm going to start with Claude Code for now. All right. Now, the reason I'm back on Claude Code is because Anthropic has apparently taken a wild stance on people who are using Claude Code outside of Claude Code, the Claude subscription, which I cover in one of the videos as well. You can watch it somewhere here, linked on the top right. But you can effectively use any of the AI agents here, right? For example, if I go to InsForge dashboard, you will see that they have like literally a step for installing InsForge first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the terminal and I'm going to select Claude Code here and I'm going to copy this command so that we install it. I'm going to reset these API keys by the time you're watching this video, and let me actually close this, paste this command. I think we should keep it npx only, hit enter. Let's install this. And as you can see, it has told me that InSforge MCP is now configured with Cloud Code, right? Now I'm going to open Cloud Code. I'm going to see the MCP servers, and you can see like InSforge is available inside our managed MCPs over here. You should also see that it says connected over here. And if you hit enter and click on view tools, you will see that we have about 17 tools over here, which is how Cloud Code would know like how to work with InSforge and the infrastructure that they have. If you open any tool, you will also see the name and the description and the stuff that you can do with it, right? So anyway, this is like a little bit of insights, but let's just go back and let's just try to build the application. So I'm gonna say that, can you build a basic front end for this backend application so that I can use this from the browser, also use React plus vtest vt setup, also clear out any personal information that I have, since I am recording a YouTube video on this right now as well, right? So we'll give it a second for it to just set up a small front end so that our backend is actually usable inside the browser. While that's happening, I can click on next. And yeah, I mean, you can technically verify the connection, but I did not. I just verified it with the MCP tools, but you can also add a prompt over here and it should respond with the MCP configured, right? So Cloud Code would be able to respond properly. So effectively, we will be using this functions runtime over here, and we'll be using the storage over here, right? So the pro plan that I'm on, this one comes with $10 of AI model credits, which is if your application wants to use AI, you can do that. It comes with 100 GB file storage and 250 GB bandwidth. All right, so it's asking us to run two servers. First is an API server and second is a front-end server. And you can see now when I visit this, it gives me this ability to have this invoice over here and it creates this invoice on the fly, right? Which sounds pretty cool. But the problem is that if you only create this as a front-end only application, this would not work because I want this application to work even on my phone, right? And if you're just creating it on front-end and you're taking this PDF or somehow, there could be problems in dimensions, there could be problems on Safari, API problems. So we need like still a backend which can run a browser. It takes a screenshot, uploads it into object storage, gives me back the URL, right? So we want all of that to happen. So the architecture that we want, talking a little bit about this, is we have our front end UI, which can be accessed from anywhere. This talks to the backend in order to say that, okay, this is the invoice data. This backend launches a Chrome over here. This Chrome takes a screenshot of the PDF, returns back. This backend returns it back. We upload the screenshot on InSforge storage over here. If you want, you can also put this in as a record inside the database, and you return the final object store URL over here to the front end. And this would then be, platform specific. You can use this on your phone, on your tablet, on any specific device that can just open web. On top of this, if you just add authentication as well, let's say we add an auth over here, what you can do is you can link this auth with the database and object storage separately. And you can also have a screen which shows the past invoices that the user has created, right? Past invoices. And this would be super simple to set up, where your backend is powered by InSforge, which has all these components included already, right? All right, so now that we are done with the front end and the basic application working, I want to say to Claude, do a research on InSforge APIs and MCPs that you have and deploy this project on my account. Hit enter. And that's all you have to do. It should be able to configure or figure out the services and the API calls that it needs to make and the relevant documentations as well, right? So let's just give it a second. And as you can see, as my Claude bot is making these MCP calls, we can see these happening in real time over here, right? So it's fetching the docs, it's doing some sort of work, right? And I can even keep on doing the work with my agent. So it is much more suitable for people who are just starting off and vibe coding, or just you're creating your first MVP to get started, because it's so insanely fast. You don't have to read about anything. You can just ask the agent to do it when it's connected with the documentation and MCP. And this is especially a no-brainer for newer projects, right? If you have older projects, legacy projects, which might require some sort of migration, then of course you'll have to still think about it. But for newer projects, you can just add an MCP server and just go. You can see I'm about to see these things inside my console now, edge function deployed. I'm seeing this, which is pretty cool. And if I go back to my dashboard, you can also see if I go inside functions, I am seeing edge functions available, right? So it's pretty cool that it's working out of the box. I'm not doing a single line of code, and it's running, TypeScript compiler, it's running Vite build. It's just doing every piece of debugging on its own. I mean, it's magical to live in a world where, these things used to take hours of time and now it takes seconds. And you can see our website is now ready to use. So I'm going to copy this URL. It's also available in our deployments. I'm going to open a new tab, paste this, and I get the same invoice that I had, right? This time on our website, let's try to build an invoice. I've just added a basic invoice detail, which is obviously wrong. And let's say I press this download PDF button now. You can see it's generating and it says failed to generate PDF, which is great because all I have to do is copy this and send it to my Claude again, and it will be able to access the logs. It will be able to do things on its own to figure out what's going wrong. So I'm going to say it when I click on download PDF button, it gives me the error failed to generate. Instead of that, should have created the PDF, uploaded it on object store inside InsForge, and it should have given me the permalink, right? So let's give it to Claude to solve. And as you can see, the moment I gave it, you can see that it automatically got into container logs. It's doing fetching of docs. So it's very, very relevant in a way like how you would do a debugging, right? You'll have to get the logs. You'll have to see, you'll list the bucket. There is nothing in the bucket. So it's figuring out what's going on right now. And that is the benefit of, companies like InsForge, which provide their own MCP servers that you can add to your agents, which works flawlessly for such use cases. So you can see Claude has written a plan, but since we are not gonna write a line of code in this video, I'm just gonna bypass the permissions. I'm not going to clear the context because it's just 56% used, so that's fine. Let's just bypass the permissions and let it run directly. And after doing some work for multiple minutes, I believe Claude has now completed the work. It has made a bunch of fixes that were wrong initially, its assumptions on uploading the data and all of that. But anyway, basically, I have not opened VS Code, any code editor so far. And if I refresh this now, I feel this should work now. Let's give it another try. Let's say YouTube viewer, I'm giving you an invoice over here for watching this video, and I'm going to give you an invoice of 100 rupees, which is a little over $1, right? Awesome. Now I'm going to click on this generate button. It says me generating, and it opens a new tab automatically, which has the exact invoice that I wanted, right? So it is uploaded already on the storage. This is coming from AWS S3-like signature. This looks like an S3 signature if I'm not wrong. And if I go back to my InsForge dashboard, look inside my storage, maybe refresh it, and you can see like I have these couple of invoices, right? This test invoice was created by Claude itself, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this is a Claude invoice. And this one is the one which I recently created, right? So pretty cool. As you can see, I basically did nothing in this video, right? As a developer, I did not do anything. I just wanted this application where I can create invoices, and now I can share this link with anyone, basically, right? Anyone internally in my team member. If I want, I can add an auth on this. All I have to say is, can you add Google Auth from InsForge on top of this so that every user gets their own sort of bucket and they can see their past invoices as well in a screen. I mean, this is what vibe coding is, right? This is what software development for new software, for personal age software is, where you just talk with the agent. It's going to work. It's going to do this. And I know it for a fact it can do this is because you can see like in InsForge, inside this authentication, you have this Google and GitHub auth already available with shared keys, right? Now they say that you can't use it in production. They are keys created by InsForge team for development. It will help you get started, but it will show an InsForge logo and a name. You can disable them and you can have like your client ID and stuff, or you can ask Claude to set it up for you as well, right? Might as well just use AI all the way. But it's completely possible to do these things, right? Which Claude is now doing. Now granted, it will take a while, but as you can see, it has already configured a lot of these components which are actually hard to configure, right? It configured the object storage for us. It can configure the auth and database for us. It has configured this Chrome screenshotting pipeline for us. It has created a web front-end UI. It is getting us these URLs. It's storing it in object storage. And most importantly, the UI itself is also something which is great, right? I don't have to manually edit the code, which in fact I was doing earlier in this application. So I might as well just keep on using this app for future invoices as well. But yes, this is super cool, where you can just prompt and let InsForge MCP tools discover the possibilities. It can work with your database. It can work with your storage functions, all of these features. And as they keep on adding these new features, all you are supposed to do is have a prompt to your agent and it'll do the rest. As you can see, it's also up to date now with the plan now that I have. So I can probably ask it. We still have 20% context window left in Claude. So maybe it should be fine. It should be able to use that. And I don't know why suddenly the context window has dropped from 20% to just 5%. But anyway, the point is that this is possible for Claude to work with InSforge and create all of these features, functionalities just from prompt, right? And again, just to summarize, this is very useful if you're starting with a fresh backend where you are starting with a new application and you want to move fast. We have basically done something that takes hours, if not days, for people to build. An application of this size with a database, with a Postgres database, with object storage, with authentication, with a production level domain, which can take up, I can basically start selling this application as well. I can add like a Stripe payment link over here, and I can go to every shop that I know that is doing manually invoice generation, and I can ask them that, hey, you can manage your inventory of invoices using my software. That is what I discuss about, in the freelance video as well, like how can you build AI agents for doing stuff. So it's similar on those lines, right? If you look into your local businesses, you will see that most of the world right now is not using AI. They are not aware about these tools. They are not aware about how these things work. So you can use these automations, you can use these agents, and you can use these platforms to move extremely fast. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. You will find all the code and relevant links in the description and in the pinned comment. Do check out InSforge. My link is in the description and in the pinned comment. That's all for this one. If you're still watching, make sure you leave a comment, I watched till the end below, to tell me that you were still here, and let me know what do you think about the video.